Today's video is all about blue fragrances. Yes, people are still loving and wearing blue fragrances. I mean, they're still making them. A lot of these popular designer brands are still churning these out flanker after flanker, and there's a great reason for it. These are simply fragrances that are just really, really useful for essentially any situation, any season, any time of the year. And they also pretty much always get great compliments as well. They're just some really good bestsellers. And I think that, at least for me, oftentimes I'm reaching for some sort of blue fragrance in some capacity or another. Some are maybe more so traditionally blue than others. Some maybe have more of a twist. And so essentially a blue fragrance, if you don't know, it's kind of like an ambroxan-based scent. Think your Bleu de Chanel, Sauvage, Dylan Blue, that sort of thing. Now those aren't in here. We've got some other selections instead. So we're gonna get things kicked off with a scent from Afnan. It is 9 a.m. Dive. Now this one here has lemon, mint, apple, incense, and black currant. So, Afnan, clone brand, right? This line in particular, 9 p.m. anyway, is a clone of Ultramale, and so it makes you think, okay, this has to be a clone of something. What is it a clone of? Well, this one has always been a little bit more interesting because to me it's not like a written on the wall thing where, oh, it's a clone of this or that. It's not quite that cut and dry. This one to me essentially embodies a lot of other pretty popular, prominent blue fragrances kind of combined into one. When you smell this, you might get a little bit of like a Dylan Blue smell, or maybe you get a little bit of a Bleu de Chanel smell, or a little bit of an Elysium smell, or something along those lines. It kind of is essentially pulling from all of these very popular and successful blue scents and essentially kind of combining them into one and giving it to us at a price that is very reasonable. I think this is somewhere around $40 on discounters these days. So really good price, really high quality scent. It does smell amazing. And 9 a.m. Dive, it's a pretty fitting name too. It just kind of has a refreshing, cooling, kind of watery smell to it, to where you just imagine you're on vacation, you jump in the resort pool in the morning, life is good. That's kind of what this smells like, really. So it's a good name, really cool bottle as well that pretty much kind of tells the story anyway. You got the blue on the front. The glass itself is tinted blue too. Just really nice stuff throughout. This next one is Acqua Essenziale Blue. This is by Ferragamo. Another more affordable one here. We're going to have a few others that are a little bit more pricey coming up, but we're keeping it kind of on the more affordable end to start out with here. This one is all about the lavender, the tonka bean, and the ambroxan. I love this lineup. Now, unfortunately, they discontinued Colonia, which was kind of one of my favorites in the lineup, so that sucks. But the original is solid, and this blue flanker is really good as well. And you could imagine, of the three that are in this line, this is going to be their blue fragrance variant, perfumed by Alberto Marias. All of them were, which is pretty cool because these, again, are affordable. These are kind of in that cheapy price range. Not too often can you get something made by him that is around, $30 to $40. So really cool little detail there as well. Great quality on this stuff because of that fact. They didn't cheap out or skimp out on this lineup at all. In fact, they're all really, really premium for the price that they go for on discounters. But it smells great. Nice, bright, vibrant, refreshing, and blue. Has a little bit of that Dylan Blue smell. Has almost a little bit of an Acqua Atlantique type of feel. It's not a clone or exactly like Atlantique by any stretch of the imagination, but it's in that category a little bit. It almost is a little bit salty, a little bit marine, without going that far. This is kind of, another blue fragrance with a little bit of a twist. It's not as simple as, oh, it smells like this or that. It's kind of pulling from some others and then, doing a little bit of an adjustment to it as well to make it stand out on its own. That is Essenziale Blue. Smells really nice. Great, great price on this one as well on discounters. This is a tester, so that's why the cap is missing. That's something to keep in mind when you're buying yours. Now this next one is very unique as well. I've talked about this one and loved it ever since it first hit the market. It is Ralph Lauren Polo Deep Blue Parfum. This one has C notes, ambroxan, mango, and cypress. That is the key note right there, the mango, I should say. You don't really see that used all that often, and you definitely don't see it in any other blue fragrances that I know of. And Ralph Lauren, they like that mango note. They actually used it in, I believe it was Polo Double Black, which is a coffee scent. And I think that's the one where they put mango in there too. Kind of an interesting combination that you wouldn't expect, yet somehow it works. Same thing here, you know, in a blue scent, I'm not really expecting to see kind of a tropical fruity note like mango, but they put it in here and it smells really nice. Along with that, a very marine, cooling, kind of mineralized smell. This one, if it were to remind me of something in particular a little bit, it's almost in that Acqua di Gio Profondo category. And again, when I say this, I don't mean that it smells exactly like Profondo, but just when we're categorizing it here, when you think of kind of a cooling, refreshing, marine, slightly salty, watery blue scent, that's kind of what Profondo is. This is somewhere in that category as well, with a twist, of course. So if you're kind of trying to figure out where you want to place this one, that's kind of what I would say. So if you want something that kind of has a unique mineral smell to it, something that just stands out up against your typical Sauvage Del Blue type of blue fragrance, this is going to be the one to get. And you might not expect it to be, because again, this is another affordable one, mid-price range, 50 bucks or so. You might think it's going to be kind of cookie cutter. It's actually quite the opposite. Really impressive blue scent, Parfum concentration as well, which is a nice bonus, especially at this price point. So it is a great performer and, of course, a great compliment getter. All right, now we're going to switch things up here and go niche. This is the only niche fragrance in this video, and then we've got a few other designers and affordable ones after this. But this is a newer one to my collection, a newer one in general. It is Roja Elysium. This is the newest Noir flanker. This one has blackberry, juniper berries, ambroxan, and patchouli, along with, of course, a ton of other notes. That is one thing about Roja. They often have very extensive note breakdowns, and this one is no exception. And I'm glad they're still doing that, because a lot of brands are going away from that, but not Roja. So a lot to kind of unpack, but essentially the main difference is the blackberry. You really do pick up on it. It is the star of the show, and it makes sense when you look at even just the bottle itself, the gradient. It has that deeper kind of look to it, almost like this deep, you know, oceanic blue look to it. Now, this is not an oceanic smelling scent. However, when you think of blackberry and kind of how it smells and oftentimes what it looks like, kind of has maybe a black / purplish tint to it. And this bottle kind of reminds me of that a little bit. You know, it doesn't surprise me that they didn't go purple with it. That wouldn't fit the blue theme, but just the darker gradient overall kind of fits in with that blackberry impression that they're giving off here. It smells really, really good. You guys know I love Elysium in all formats, you know, both the Parfum Cologne, the Eau Intense is really good. And I knew at some point, just based off of past, you know, releases, that we were going to get some sort of like actual intense version, because Elysium Eau Intense is actually a bit brighter, and it's a frosted glass bottle, so that one didn't make a whole lot of sense in that regard. And this is what we got out of it, and I do like it. Still does have that Elysium kind of blue backbone, but with a richer, deeper, heavier, and darker twist that smells really good. Overall, just a deeper, heavier, and richer take. You know, Elysium to me is a summer scent through and through. I love wearing it in summertime, the Parfum Cologne and the Eau Intense. This one's going to be still summer leaning, but more evening. You know, this is one that I would wear when the sun goes down, you know, date nights, just going out in general. That's when I'm going to go for the Noir version here. Yeah, there we go. Finally getting some focus on it. That's when I would wear this one. Really sharp bottle, great smelling scent. It's expensive. Finally hit discounters. That's when I bought mine. That's why it's new to my collection, because I was not paying full retail for it. So I waited for it to hit discounters, and then I pulled the trigger on it. I think I paid about 250 bucks, but now it's available for 208 through Joma Shop if you do want to get one. So, you know, that's something that you can look into. This next one is YSL. This is the Eau de Parfum version, just the classic at this point. You know, there are plenty of flankers to choose from, and flankers that oftentimes I gravitate towards more and prefer. The Eau de Parfum Intense, the new Le Parfum 2025. I have not tried the what is it, the iced version yet, but I am going to get it. I'm really excited about it. But, you know, when we go back to the theme, the main idea of this video, just, you know, great smelling, high performing blue fragrances, great compliment pullers. It's really hard to beat the Eau de Parfum. In terms of just standard mass appeal, this one is it. It has apple, it has sage, it has geranium, and a ton of amber wood in here, no surprise. performance monster, huge compliment puller. People love this stuff, and it's right around $100, $105 on discounters. You know, it's not cheap by any means. However, for that money, for that $100 that you're putting up and investing, you're going to get a product that you're going to get a ton of use out of. You're going to go through the bottle, and you're going to feel as though you got your money's worth out of it, you know, because it's something that performs good. You don't really need a ton of sprays, so, you know, a full-size bottle should probably last you a good while, even if you're wearing it every day. It's just a good investment. It's something that you're not going to regret buying because it's collecting dust, because you don't wear it due to the fact that it doesn't perform or it doesn't get compliments, or, you know, a combination of other reasons. This is one that you can really, really get your use out of, and that's why it's so popular at the end of the day. Not everybody has hundreds of fragrances to wear. A lot of people just want to have a select few that they like a lot and that they can wear often, and this fits the bill for so many of those people. Let's go back to the cheap end. We're going to finish this one up. Well, not with this, but the next one. The next two are going to be more affordable is what I was trying to get at. Ferragamo Uomo Urban Feel. This one's around, I think, $40 here. It's got ambroxan, bergamot, driftwood in ozonic notes. The driftwood always gives it kind of this musky marine woodiness. The ambroxan, kind of no surprise, needs no introduction. And then a nice bright pop off the opening. Plenty of musk in here as well. So it's kind of a clean, soapy, bright, fresh, woody scent. This is kind of their take on a blue scent. And again, when you look at the bottle, yeah, that kind of makes sense, right? It all starts to come together here. You know, a little bit watery. Now, this one's not marine, but it is a little bit watery. Kind of from the ozonic notes, too. It just gives you this airy, almost aldehydic type of smell. That driftwood gives you the impression of this woody kind of, I don't know, marine smell, but yet it's not like a marine scent in terms of being salty or seaweed based. It's just a lighter, watery take on that type of scent, at least to me. And I mean, it's a complete polar opposite to Ferragamo Uomo and Ferragamo Uomo Signature, both of which are very sweet, very heavy, fall and winter based. This one is spring and summer all the way through at a great price. And last up for this video, we have Azzaro Chrome. This is the Parfum. Now, the Extreme, I believe, is discontinued. I mean, you can't get it on discounters anymore. You can't really get it on retailers anymore either, although I don't know if you have been able to for a while or not. So I don't know what's going on there. We'll hope for the best, and that is just that maybe it's supply chain issues, but the worst could be that they pulled the plug on it. I don't know. So the Chrome Parfum is pretty much our second best Chrome flanker right now. This one has bergamot, sage, and fir resin. It's the only three notes that they give us, and that's good enough. Gives you an idea, right? I mean, bergamot, sage, and fir resin. Nice citrus off the top, nice aromatic mid, and then more aromatics to go along with it. The sage and the fir resins are both kind of aromatic leaning. Now, there's more to it than that, of course. There's a lot of woods in here, a lot of musk, and a bit of like an amber wood kind of fuzziness. Less ambroxan, more amber wood. Think of like YSL type of fuzzy amber. You know, that's what this one has instead. This is about $50 if I didn't say that already. So a little bit more expensive than some of the other Chromes, but yet not outrageously priced. And for $50, I think that's fair. I think it's a really good price for this. The quality is really good. It's a Parfum. It performs really good. A lot of versatility out of this. And this one is not something that smells exactly like something else. Like Chrome Extreme smells a lot like Profondo. This one's kind of more of an original release, kind of on its own here, so not really going to be any redundancy as far as that's concerned. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some high-powered, strong-performing, great compliment pulling blue fragrances that are definitely worth picking up if you want a blue scent and you want to go out of the norm, but yet still keep it safe. I will drop links to all these down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.